Hey boss, thank you for joining me today. Today I want to talk to you about how using the DISC assessment can help your business. And I am a big proponent of using assessments, all kinds of assessments in the business, because it's going to help give you information that you probably are not going to otherwise be aware of. And I'm a huge proponent of having as much information as possible so you actually can make informed decisions. So the DISC assessment's been around for years and a lot of companies use it. And I like it because it's not a personality test. It is a test assessing your behaviors. And if you want any kind of a change, it's the behavior that you are going to try and change. So think about that when it comes to using the DISC assessment, that it is assessing your behaviors, what your strengths are, and what maybe might be a weakness, or just a weakness, or just a challenge for you. And so basically the DISC assessment is great because it is going to let you know, for example, if an employee likes to experience new challenges, or if an employee is going to be working well and collaborative in teams. The assessment does all that and a whole lot more. So really the assessment is looking at four key areas of your behavior. And before I get into that, I just want to say welcome to the channel. I'm Dr. Heather Williamson with the Transformation Group, and thanks for joining today. All right, so the DISC assessment is looking at four behaviors. And the first is dominance. And just to let you think about this in terms of these four behaviors, you're experiencing all of these behaviors, and it's kind of what I refer to on a continuum. So you might be high in something, one of the behaviors, and low in another. There is nothing wrong with any of this. It is who you are. And really the assessment is just really to assess if you're in the right role, maybe how to manage you better, and other key strengths of yours. So for first is the D for dominance. And the dominance is really looking at how you respond to new problems and challenges. If you think about it, somebody who scores high in this is very ambitious. They're a driver. They're focused on results, and they're very direct in how they communicate. The second dimension is I, and that stands for influence. And it's basically how you are influencing others to get them to see your point of view. So people who score high in this I dimension is going to be very optimistic. They're going to be trusting, enthusiastic, and all of these are things that represent somebody who scores high in this dimension. The person who scores high in the S, which is stability, that's the third dimension, that person is really going to be focused on, which the dimension looks at, is how you respond to the pace of your environment. So for somebody who scores high in this stability dimension, they are going to like an environment where there's not a lot of change, not a lot of chaos. They kind of know what to expect on a daily basis. And then you have the C dimension, which is the compliance dimension. And the C person who scores high in this dimension is going to be very focused on how they respond to rules and regulations that are set by others. So they're going to be very perfectionist in nature. They're going to be very accurate in the work that they do. They're going to be very careful and very cautious. So those are the four dimensions that the DISC assesses and measures. And really it gives you that information and a whole lot more in the report. What you are also getting in the DISC assessment report to help you in your business is how that person likes to be communicated with. So it's going to share very specific instances or examples of how that person who is maybe scores high in the I, that influence dimension, they don't want you to be all business. They want you to, hey, ask questions, personal questions. Hey, how was your weekend? To kind of start off that conversation and be very engaging. Whereas somebody who scores in maybe a high compliance, they're really just kind of want to get to the details and be very accurate in how you communicate. Don't come and give me fluff or what you might think you need to know. So it gives great tips on how to communicate with that person and what not to say and do. So this is very important as well. And another key area that this report gives great information on is the ideal and work environment that that particular employee or person likes to work in. So if you've got somebody who scores, let's say, high in that S dimension, remember we talked about steady and that pace of the environment, they are not going to want to work in an environment that is very chaotic, very innovative. It's just not going to work for them. They like routine. So this is some great information. Another key area that this assesses is basically what your natural tendencies are, basically who you are as a person. And it also looks at adaptive. So if you have to adapt to a situation, for example, let's say that you are working in that steady environment where you like the predictability, but there are times where you have to make decisions a little quicker than you're comfortable with. That would show up in that adaptive key area of the assessment. Another thing that this assessment measures and gives great information on is keys to managing a particular employee. So if you've got someone who likes to follow rules and regulations, then that's the kind of environment and how you need to manage that person. If that person likes lots of activities and innovation, then that's key information to know when you are managing that person as well. Another area that this assessment measures is areas for improvement. I wish we could say that we're all perfect, but we're not. So there are going to be some key areas that we all have to work on, and the assessment actually picks that up as well. So it gives you specific behaviors to work on. Some examples of that could be maybe they have trouble delegating. The assessment will pick that up. Maybe they micromanage. The assessment will pick that up. Maybe they set standards too high for themselves and for others. The assessment will pick that up. So these are some great tips and information for you as the boss that you are going to be made aware of. And that the individual, that person who takes the assessment, this is a great self-awareness report for them as well. Now, one good thing is if you've got a team and your team takes this assessment, you can actually, at the end of the report, see how your whole team looks on a graph or wheel. So this is great as well. And like I said before, this is the assessment actually measures those 4 behaviors. So you're kind of scoring high or low on it, and it will tell you key behaviors that are representative of each of those 4 dimensions of the D, I, S, and C. Now, if you want more information about this DISC assessment, you can always go to my website, which is transformationgroupllc.com, and actually get more information and other assessments that can really help you in making sure that your team and your business is going to be successful in everything that you want it to be. So I know on the website I've got the DISC assessment, tells more about that. Also information about how to motivate, which that will be another video, how to motivate people. And also if you've got people you're thinking about succession planning, there's an assessment that looks at that to see how to get that person ready as well. And the old 360 evaluation to see as a department or as an organization how everybody is fitting in, and especially from a management level, how effective they are. So these are some great tips that this DISC assessment offers, great insight, and I will actually plug that in the description. So more information, if you're interested, check that out. And hopefully you found this assessment or the assessment actually beneficial. And if you want any more information about it, just reach out to me. And with that, I hope that You have an amazing day. And last but not least, go out and be that boss that your employees want to work for. Until next time, bye guys.